Wow. Well, here we go. Um, Not sure who's going to be watching this, but this is the start of my YouTube channel. So I just thought I would open up with this live video stream. So where do I begin? So my name's Matthew, I'm a Christian, and what I want to share with you today is I want to share with you the journey that I've been on as a Christian who battled daily with bipolar. So really, mental health from my perspective as a Christian and how that's all developed over the years. So I became a Christian at 15, was diagnosed with bipolar at the age of 17. So how did it all happen being a Christian? Well, really, because I was having bad depression for quite some time. Before I was in my pre-teens, from like 12 years and under, I was fine. I was the happiest, contented, outgoing person you could ever meet. Really. Became depressed at 13. That's when it really hit me. And I think the thing that it was achievement, performance. Those things could not satisfy a deep desire in my heart of emptiness. So I tried to fill it with those things like performance and achievement, and I craved it. In fact, I craved the opinions of people so much that I actually placed value on that, And I'm sure you can all relate to that, Our esteem built on the opinions of others, what people think of us. And, as a teenager, that's quite a big thing. But of course, I started going to school at 1994. And then I went to a new school in 1996. And of course, back in the 90s, I'm 32 now, but back in the 90s, schools didn't really talk about mental health back then. Of course, now I'm assuming it's better. Kids are learning about mental health, which is fantastic. But because of the extreme depression I was having, I got to about the age of 15 or 14 actually, and so started asking those questions about, well, what's life really about? What am I really living for? Because I wasn't really living. I was surviving, I was just existing, and I didn't like that. And so it was at that time that I started to look for something greater out there, and I landed into Christianity, and I'll share with you how that happened. So I joined the church, a Baptist church at 15. And for the first time it felt, excuse me a minute, at first time it felt, it felt I came home. In a sense, I found somewhere I belonged. And it was then I really started to search for Jesus. And, but I still had So I accepted Jesus into my life, and the thing was, I still had this condition that I didn't even knew know anything about. So for about 3 years, 15, 16, 17, I was battling with something I didn't know. And obviously, I wound up in hospital. And that, as a 17-year-old going into a hospital, quite scary. It was quite a scary thing to happen. Looking back, I could have gone to a younger ward for people my own age. Because bearing in mind this was back in 2005, and of course back then, you know, you were mixed in with people that were from violent to not violent, so quite scary. And but through that, I'm glad I had a faith in Jesus, because I would try to read my Bible, I would try to pray, but it was difficult, and it shows the impact that it can have on someone's faith. Well, someone with faith, someone without faith, but we're talking about faith here. But I'm glad that I went to hospital, really, because I was in there a month or more, at least the first time anyway. And to get a diagnosis of bipolar made sense. Of course, fast forward to now, so we're going back. I'm going to go back and forth here. I'm at a stage whereby God Jesus working in my life, I'm gradually coming down on medication. And that's been a very long journey, because I used to live in Essex, in near London, and we tried it many, many times. And so if you're listening and you're a Christian, and obviously you feel in your hearts of hearts you want to try and reduce, I would say seek wisdom from God, because it is tough to calm down. It takes time. You can't just go from being on medication to suddenly cold turkey. I remember one time this year, I think, came down on medication and came down again too quickly. Nearly went into psychosis, but luckily we stepped up the medication. But I've been on a medication reduction for quite a while, 2 years, and I'm still on the medication. But how has this impacted my faith? Well, it's impacted my faith in the sense of I just don't feel good enough as a Christian. Like, oh, I've lived a terrible life because of it. But actually, I can tell you that for every depression, every time I've gone through trials, and they've been tough, let me share one with you. It's a bit painful to talk about, but just so that you get to know me a little bit. So there was a time I drifted away from God, maybe 3 years ago, I think. And I drifted away, and it was painful. I wouldn't go so far as to say I felt separated from God, but I felt like I was separated from God. Like I felt God wasn't there. I couldn't feel his presence. I couldn't pray. My only prayer was, God, get me out of this. God, get me out of this. God didn't. And I'm actually thankful that he didn't. This actually led to me, because I was in such pain emotionally, it led to me self-harming. Now, I don't want to show them, just in case that's a trigger for people, but that is what happened. And I remember one night in A&E, I cut the deepest ever, and I believe I felt the Lord speak to me through someone that wasn't even a Christian. They said they don't want to see me there again, and I thought, right, I've got to get back. Me and God are great now. I still have struggles, but I just want you to know, if you're going, and even if you're not a Christian, all right, even if you're hearing this and there is someone watching this, thank you very much. Even if you're not a Christian, right? The Bible says, if you search with God with all your heart, you will find him. Now, do I believe God's going to heal me completely? Yes, I do. I'm pressing into it like no tomorrow. But I just wanted to introduce myself on a live stream. So until next time, thanks for watching. And just know Jesus can change your life.